Good morning. Uh, I am now starting the contour farming, which is very much practiced in the hilly areas. And as usual, let us go for our PowerPoint presentation. Let us see this contour farming. I am talking about farming, not water application. Now, usually we have talked about the contours on the side of in the case of border strip method, in the case of check basin method, in the case of uh, furrow method. Whereas here we are talking about farming itself. So it is practiced in hilly areas having steep slopes with quickly falling contours. So mostly it is practiced in hilly areas where these contours are quickly falling. It is a conducting of the field operations such as ploughing, planting, and cultivating land across the slope rather than up and down hill. See, the each and every operation is carried across the slope, including ploughing, planting, the cultivating, which are all done instead of going up and down the hill, across the slope it will be carried out. The area is divided into longitudinal curved plots, the bends of the plots following the contours. So, the bends of the plot will be following the contours. The irrigation water stored in somewhere in the depression on the higher side of the bunds. So it is maybe rainwater harvested, or it is simply pumped throughout to a hill and then released thereafter. But its source will be on the upstream side, very up on the hills. Then we have a design of contour bunds. The design of contour bunds involves the selection of the vertical as well as a horizontal interval and determining the dimension of the bund cross section. So let us understand, this is the slope is in this direction, and you will have the farming or ploughing in this direction. You can see rows of crop is across the slope, ploughing also across the slope. So this is the slope direction and this is the farming direction. So this is what the contour farming is. Then Gadkari recommendations for spacing of contour bunds on different land slopes. For example, land slope is varying as much as less than 1 sometimes percent to 3 to 4%. But you can see here the percentage of slope increasing, the vertical interval in meters. That means bench to bench difference, bench to bench difference. So this is also increasing. Here less than 1% or up to 1%, so is a little over 1 meter, whereas it's gradually increasing, and that height difference of the benches is 1.65 meters. Horizontal distance in meters. For example, here when the slope is almost like less than 1%, you will have more width of the contour strip, that is the land to be, that bench width is more. As the slope is increasing, the bench width is getting reduced. It is obvious because the lesser the slope means the more even land spread much greater extent, and the more the slope means the very very narrow strip is running under that slope. Okay, so this is how the Gadkari's recommendations for the spacing of contour bunds. Then if you go for the dimensions of the contour bunds themselves with respect to various soils. You have a shallow soils here, medium soils, and then medium deep soils. So that means with respect to depth of the soil, you will have this base width, top width, and the height of the bund varies, and of course even the slopes also. For example, in the shallow soils, the base width is lesser compared to the deep soils. In fact, as the soil depth is increasing, this base width also increasing, this top width also increasing, and then height of the bund is also increasing. Yes, of course, steeper slopes are here at the shallow soils, while somewhat lesser steeper slopes are in the medium deep soil. So as the soil depth is increasing, everything is increasing. So this is how that means when there is a deep soils, you will have a bigger bunds and a bigger water accumulation. All these things you can expect. So now we talk about subsurface irrigation. So far we have talked about surface irrigation, which includes several methods, including all those border strip irrigation method, check basin irrigation method, and then furrow irrigation method, and their sub methods, many of them. Again, each method is with respect to straight and then contours we have discussed. Whereas here it is a subsurface irrigation method. What is subsurface irrigation method? Basically, it is the application of water below the ground level. It's not on the surface. Whereas in the surface irrigation, you are watering each and every inch of the land. Whereas here, you are not doing that. That too, underground, you are running the water with the help of some trenches or underground pipelines maybe. We will be discussing that. So while you are running that water underground, much of the evaporation losses are curtailed. So you are saving a lot of water. So that is why this is basically application of water below the ground level by maintaining an artificial water table. It's not exactly water table. It is a soil moisture maintaining at certain depth, depending upon the soil texture and the depth of the plant roots. Water reaches the plant roots through capillary action. That means when the water is flowing in a trench or in a pipeline, from that there is a capillary action moved across the or sideways to the soil. That almost similar to the furrow irrigation earlier we have seen. In the furrows, when water is flowing to the ridge, the water is moved by capillary action. Exactly same fashion. Of course, furrows are on the surface, whereas here underground trenches and underground drains, it's called pipelines or tile drains, they are all run underground. So the depth of the open ditches or trenches varies from 30 centimeters to 100 centimeters, almost a meter. It's a deep, in fact, and they are spaced about 15 to 30 meters. It is also wide. So therefore, you are filling that trench with some water and allowing there and creating some kind of artificial water table, and you are allowing that water table to reach the plants by capillary action, movement of soil moisture by capillary action. Subsurface irrigation is resorted to where soils having high infiltration rate, when surface methods cannot be used and sprinkler irrigation is expensive. So when there is a soil of high infiltration is there, it is not wise to spread the water on the surface indiscriminately. In that case, you better resort to this kind of subsurface irrigation method where it can save some water. So this is the method. Let us go to some figures which are hand drawn. You can see these are the trenches. You can see trenches. In each trench the water is flowing, and water flows laterally to this vegetation. So these are the plants, and water flows from this trench to here, from here to here laterally. So you must be careful enough. The trench width should be such that this capillary action, the capillary action of the water reaches up to the middle of the trench. Otherwise, this will not receive the water. So this is very important, and this is simply filling the trench with water. So the next method, next in this you can one more you can see here the underground pipelines or tile drains. You can see pipelines are laid underground along the rows of the trees or crop. You can see they are simply underground pipelines dripping water. They are made with some kind of slots or porous, so that exactly where this plant is there, you will be dripping. Water is released there, so that the root system can absorb that water. So all along the field, the pipelines are laid down, and along that pipeline, you will have the plants are planted, and moisture flows through capillary action. So this is a much more efficient method. Of course, almost like a dripping method. In fact, it is underground. Even the whatever the evaporation losses in the drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation is also curtailed. So this is a very efficient method. So subsurface underground pipeline dripping water method is also very much. So now we have completed almost all the methods of the surface and subsurface things, and let us see. If you go to the original classification, you can see many of these methods are completed now, except that sprinkler and drip. You can see here surface irrigation, subsurface irrigation. So all these methods are completed, all these things. Okay, mostly surface, only subsurface, one or two just variants are there. So we are left with only sprinkler irrigation and then drip irrigation, which we will cover later on in the subsequent videos. And I will stop this video here, and I will come back with the sprinkler irrigation method. Thank you very much.